Hello student, welcome to my class. Today we will read the Geography chapter 2, Land Resources, and the topic is Land Use in India. Every country or province uses its land in different ways. Some land is farmed, some is used to build urban habitations, some is used for industries, and some is covered by forest. Land use is the way the people of a country or province use their land. Okay, so what is the land use? Land use is the way the people of a country or province use their land. And land use keeps changing with the time and the needs of the people. Then India's total geographic area is 32.8 lakh square kilometer, and only 93% of this land has been surveyed for land use. The two diagrams below explain land use in the whole country and the changes in land use since independence. Okay, this is the diagram. This is the diagram of land use in India in 1950 to 51. Okay, agriculture is 42%, non-agriculture is 4%, fallow land is 10%, barren land is 21%, pasture is 2% only, then forest is 14%, orchards is 7%. Okay, the next diagram is land use in India in 2010 to 11. Okay, so here the agriculture is 46%, non-agriculture is 9%, fallow land is 8%, barren land is 10%, pasture is 3% only, forest is 23% only, and orchards are 1% only. Okay, if we will compare these two diagrams, then we can notice that agriculture just after independence of India it was 42% only, but it is increased in 2010 and it is 46%. And forest also is increased. Before it was 14% only and it is 23%. Okay. Now first we will see the forest. Land with abundant vegetation is called forest. Okay. In forest we can see many types of trees, plants, etc. So the land which has abundant vegetation, that is called the forest. And forests are a source of fuel wood, timber, roots and tubers, wild fruits, medicines, fodder, etc. All these things we can find from the forest. In the last 60 years, India's forest land increased. Okay, it is increased. It was 42% and it is increased to 46%. But this increase continued only up to 1970 to 71. Since then, the area under forest has remained more or less constant. When we use the term forest land, we need to remember that the term refers to land that should be used as forest. But this does not mean that all this land has standing forest. For example, in 2010, forest land totaled 23%, but the land actually under forest cover totaled only 19.05%. The government undertakes afforestation on forest land that does not have standing forest at present. Okay, from forest we can find the timber, fuel wood, etc. And also the forest also maintain the carbon dioxide content of the atmosphere, and it also replenishes the oxygen content that is essential for human and animal repletion. Okay, so forest is very important for us. Next, at least 23% of the country should be under the forest to ensure environment stability. Next, we will see the orchards. This category includes land covered by fruit bearing trees. Over the last 60 years, orchards in India have been steadily cleared to make way for agricultural land. Okay, what is the orchards? Orchards are the land which is covered by fruit bearing trees. But it was cleared over the last 60 years for what? To make that land for the agricultural purposes. Thus, the land under orchards decreased from 7% to 1% during this period. Next, we will see the agricultural land. A large share of our country's land is under the agriculture. The majority of India's population is employed in agriculture, which provides us with food grain and raw material for industries. Clear? So in 1950 to 51, 42% of our land was agriculture, but today it is increased to 46%. For what? To provide us the food grain and the materials for the industries. The area under agriculture has been more or less stable since 1970 due to the expansion of irrigation. 2 and sometimes 3 crops are cultivated on the same land. Okay, after the independence of India, the agricultural facility was given to the farmer. It was developed. So the agriculture was increased and developed. The crops are cultivated 2 to 3 types on the same land. But only 38.75% of our agricultural land is irrigated and can be multi-cropped. Next is the non-agricultural land. This land includes all land that can be used for agriculture or cannot be used for agriculture or is used for non-agricultural purposes. It includes snow-capped mountains, sand dunes, houses, shops, industries, roads, railways, markets, playgrounds, rivers, dams, etc. So on these lands, agriculture is not possible. So it can be called as the non-agricultural land. Industrialization, urbanization and the growth of transport has increased land use under this category from 4% in 1950 to 61 to 9% in 2010 to 11. Today there is growing demand to acquire agricultural land for industrialization and urbanization. So, what type of land should be acquired for the purposes? What is the right compensation? So, if the fertile multi-cropped land is acquired for the industrialization and urbanization, then there will be a negative impact on food grain production and the country's food security. Okay, so what should be done? Instead of that, it is important to acquire only less fertile land for non-agricultural uses like industrialization and urbanization. Next we will see the fallow land. Okay, what is the fallow land? Sometimes the farmers what they do, they leave their land, less fertile land, for some years to get back its fertility. Okay, that is the fallow land. And fallow land can be divided into two categories. They are current fallow and old fallow. What is the current fallow? Okay, what fallow land is two types. They are current fallow and old fallow. What is the current fallow? Current fallow is the land that has been left cultivated for 1 year only. Okay, the land which is left for 1 year only, that is the current fallow. This is usually done to show that the soil can accumulate humus. Okay, so that it will get back its fertility, so the land is left for 1 year, which improve land fertility. Old fallow includes land that has been left uncultivated, means that land is not used for cultivation for more than a year. Okay, more than a year. It means it may be 2, 3, 5 years. Okay, this is the old fallow. If old fallow is not brought under plough, it is counted as barren land. If the old fallow is not brought under plough, if the old fallow, this land is not being used, then that can be called as barren land. About 8% of India's land is fallow land. Clear? Next is the barren land. This includes two types of land. Okay, this is also two types of land. One is land with minimal possibility for agriculture. One land can be used as agriculture purposes. Then this includes rocky, hilly land, then ravines, etc. The other is land that can be improved through soil and moisture, conservation work for forestry and agriculture. Another land can be used, okay, through the soil and moisture for the conservation work for forestry and agriculture. This includes land that was earlier under agriculture but is now barren. These lands can be developed to meet the needs of India's increasing population. These lands can be used for the agricultural purposes to meet the India's increasing population. Barren land has decreased from 21% to 10% over the last 60 years because such land is now being increasingly used for non-agricultural purposes, modern agriculture and afforestation. These lands are now being used for the non-agricultural purposes and modern agriculture and afforestation, so that it is decreased from 21% to 10%. The last one is the pasture land. This includes all land under permanent pastures and all kinds of grazing lands. Okay, what is the pasture land? This is under permanent pastures and all kinds of grazing lands. Then these lands are for common use by the people. What they do? They are used to graze livestock and to collect firewood from the pasture land. Okay. The area under pasture in India increased between 1950 to 51 and 1970 to 71, but then decreased over the past 40 years. The decline in pasture land affects the poorest people the most. Why? Because their livestock rearing and agriculture are their main sources of income. That is why when the pasture land decreased, it was affected mostly the poorest people. The main reason for the decline in the pastures is encroachment by powerful farmers and conversion of such land for alternate uses. For alternate uses and for the encroachment of powerful farmers, the pasture lands is decreased and it is affected, and this affect the poorest people the most. Okay.